Alright folks, welcome to the house that never sleeps. In this video, we're going to kill 2 stones with 1 bird. Alright, welcome back folks. Thank you for tuning in. You know, I'm getting bombarded, man, with questions on 2 things. Frets and these fret erasers that I bought. One of y'all asked me just yesterday, said it's been 9 months now. How are they holding up? How do I like them? I didn't realize it'd been that long. 9 months and probably 150 guitars. I've done frets. 150 guitars times however many frets a guitar has is how many frets these erasers have done. And I'm going to show you what kind of condition they're in after that. They've had the guts used out of them. But first, I get so many questions, man, on fret works. Everybody says, you know everything about frets. Well, yeah, I do. Really, I do. So, we'll go over frets. Here's this little Martin guitar that I'm working on now. I'm polishing the frets, in fact, with it. I have 2 erasers here to go. And then we're going to start setting this puppy up. So, stay tuned for that. We'll all get to hear what this guitar sounds like. But, when you're replacing your frets, okay, and let me just use this guitar. Of course, this guitar doesn't have a truss rod in it, but if you got a guitar that does have a truss rod, and you're getting ready to pull frets, take the strings off, of course, tighten that truss rod up, and put a little bit of a backward bow in the neck, you know, this way. Not the relief, backward bow. Put a little bit of back bow. Tighten the rod up, put a little bit of back bow in it. If you take the strings off and it's got a little bit in there, you can still get a little bit more and it'll help you even more. Okay, what that does is you're pulling these fret slots apart, wider. Okay, that's going to, common sense, make the fret come out easier. Same with driving new frets in. Driving your new frets in with that back bow, and then when you set your relief, that relief is going to really seat them frets down in there tight. And you're probably not going to have to use glue. Too many people use glue. Too many use glue, man. Sharp fret ends, what to do, what kind of file. You don't need a file 90% of the time if your fret ends are sharp. They're talking about when you feel up and down the sides of the frets like that. This had some sharp ones on it. 90% of the time, if you'll humidify that guitar, the wood swells up. Water humidity gets moisture content into the wood, makes the wood swell, and those sharp fret ends will just mysteriously go away. Now here's a big one. Explain fret leveling. Alright, you all seen me do it a million times. Where you got divots in your frets. You want to level those frets, get rid of the divots, and then, you know, do what I've done so far. I've crowned them, put the radius in them. I'll get on that in a minute. Right now I'm polishing them. But as far as leveling frets go, okay, I see so many luthiers on YouTube taking a fret leveling beam. Let's say you have take a whole beam that covers the entire neck, okay, covers the entire, all the frets. And you just go back and forth with it and level them all. You're grinding off way more fret material than you need to do. So if you just have little tiny divots up here, and you got that big beam and you got a radius in the frets, well, you're grinding way more off of the top of those frets, the center of every fret. You're taking way more off right there than you are on these sides, okay, to get rid of the divots. And then once you get them flat and level, and they are completely true and in uniform with each other, then you got to put the radius back in. And what's that do? Well, you're taking even more material away doing that. I did it that way, and I still do if a fretboard doesn't have very much radius in it. But if it's got, you know, much radius at all, man, you shouldn't do that with a fret leveling beam. In fact, I may never use my fret leveling beams anymore. Try to think of the fret, the radius in the fret, okay? The radius in the fret. Over on the side you got divots on the high E side. You take that big beam and start up and down the middle of the fret, you're really taking a lot of material away. And you got to take it away to get down to where the divots are. You know, there's no need for that, man. Take a like these little radius blocks. See what I mean? These is all different radiuses. I use the small ones. I think I told you why before. Because a lot of people want compound radius on their guitars, and I can't get it with those big long blocks. With these little ones, I can switch 3 or 4 times up the neck, you know, to give them the compound radius they want. What was I talking about? Yeah, those blocks. Put you some rough sandpaper on there. I showed you in a video or 2 ago how to do that. Painter's tape on the block, painter's tape on the back of the sandpaper. Super glue them together, and then use that block, man, with a very rough grit, and mark the frets like I showed you to do so many times, and then just sand with that block with the right radius to match the fretboard until those blue divots are gone. Until, you know, you can go over it with one of those blocks and it'll remove all the blue except for the low spots where those divots are. That'll stay blue. I showed you in the video a while, just recently. So you just keep going, man, until those little divots with blue spots in them are gone. Then what do we got? All your frets are in uniform with each other. The divots are taken away, and you've already got your radius in there. You just removed half of the material you would have removed if you used a fret leveling beam. Use that fret leveling beam and you're going to be replacing frets pretty soon. I mean, you might get by 2 or 3 times doing that. Well, by using a radius block this way, man, you can use the same frets and redo them and dress them probably 8 times, 7 or 8 times before you have to pull them, you know, and replace them. That's very important. Like I say, I used to just take a leveling beam and do it like that myself, and I got to thinking about, wow, you're removing a lot of fret material that you could save, you know what I mean? So I don't do it that way anymore. Maybe if the fretboard didn't have any radius in it, I might do it with the fret leveling beam then. Alright, what else? Proper radius when replacing. Yeah, you're going to need, if you're replacing your frets, you need a radius bender. What are they called? A radius bender. Is that right? You run your fret wire through it. Well, I've got one here. I don't know where it is, but I've got 2 or 3. You just run your fret wire, set it for whatever. If your neck, your radius in your frets are, say, 12, then you adjust that thing to 12. Run your fret wire through it, and it puts a 12-inch radius in the fret wire. You need to do that because you can't just take a straight piece of fret wire and hammer it or press it into. Well, you can, but I don't recommend doing it. You need to bend that wire to the radius of the fretboard. If you're replacing frets, your tang size is very important. When you pull your old frets out, take calipers or something and read that tang thickness, and you want to replace your frets with that. Unless there's a problem with the slots or something, you have to go maybe 10 thousandths, 20 thousandths bigger. They make fret wire all different size tangs. So be careful, you know, like I say, pull your old fret out, read the tang, what it is, the width of it, the thickness of it or whatever, and put the same tang size back into your fret slots, if you can. And make sure you got the neck, you know, backbone. It pulls those slots open wider. It helps you to get the frets out, helps you to get the new frets in. Tang size. Okay, frets you like. Now they make like, oh Lord, very narrow, thin. I think it's even thinner than narrow. Medium frets, wide frets, jumbo frets. The list goes on and on. Just make sure you got the right tang for the slot that you're replacing the fret in. And, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of fret you put back in it. Whatever you like. So that clears it up on, I think, that's everything I had wrote down here. I get so many questions about this stuff. They say, why don't you just make a video dedicated to frets? Here it is. But I'm going to include these erasers in here too. The guy that asked me about these yesterday or a couple days now, it's been, he said in his comment, he said it's been 9 months. How are the fret erasers holding up? I hadn't realized it'd been 9 months. I'm going to show you a close-up of these. I've just got 2 here, but they all look exactly the same. They've all had exactly the same use. Other than where these fret erasers make contact with the fret, you can see where it makes contact with the fret because it's grinding fret material away. But you will not see any wear whatsoever. Like I said, I've probably done 150 guitar frets, 150 guitars, times however many frets each guitar had. That's a shit ton of frets, man, if you think about it. In those 9 months, if that's right, what he said, it seems like it's probably been about 9 months. Yeah, that seems like it's probably right. But let me come over there and show you. Cue ball's laying here in front of me, so I got to be careful. Guitar cords and crap everywhere. You can see where the fret makes contact. But look at the corners, man. They are not worn at all. There is no wear on those corners. Well, there's no wear on the sides either. It's nice and square yet. I mean, these have had the guts used out of them. Here's another one. I just happen to have 2 right here. And you can see how nice and square. I use the square parts of them a lot of times to remove scratches from guitar finish. It works wonderful, man, for that. Be careful and use the right grit, though. But you can see there's no wear there, man. There is no wear at all there. They're just as straight and flat as they was the day I got them brand new. And they still work just like they did brand new. See both sides, how flat they are and how square they are. No wear whatsoever. 150 or so guitars times however many frets each guitar had. All of the frets that I have, I think it's 7 of them. I think. Don't hold me on that because I can't remember for sure. But none of them shown anywhere. He asked me, he said, do they still grind in as good as they do? Yes, they do. I can't tell any difference, man, when I was brand new the first time I used them. I do wash them occasionally, not every time I use them, but occasionally I'll take them in, put them in a little bowl, and just put a couple of drops of dishwashing liquid in there. And sometimes I'll rub them together like that. Usually I'll just take my fingers and rub them, clean them out, and not much comes out. I mean, you could still see where they make fret contact, but not that bad is what I just showed you. But yeah, it's just to loosen the, get some of the stuff out of there that I can. This is yeah, where's the grit? One of them's 4,000 grit and one's 8,000. After I do those 2 erasers on this guitar, we're going to hear this puppy. Of course, we're going to set it up first and all that jazz. Anyways, I hope this helps you guys with your questions about fret erasers and frets in general. Pulling frets, replacing frets, polishing frets, crowning frets. I think I pretty much in the earlier video about frets and this one, I think pretty much covered it all. So, thank you guys for watching. I love you. Cheers to you. Thanks for keeping it here. You got anything to say, Cue Ball? Tell them, say, we love you. We love you. What? Oh, tell them. Good. There you go, folks. See you next time. She says she loves you, but it takes her a while to get built up to say it. What? 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 There you go. Good girl. She loves you. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Woo! There she is, folks. She just had to make the scene. You know, she sees that light on that camera flashing. She wants to say, I love you. What? Tell the camera, the folks, oh, I love you. We love you. What? What is it? She's too wound up to say, oh yes, we love you. Come on, get up in there.